Chapter 4. The next album I recorded was Desamangang Var, What Once Was. Most of the music for this album had already been made before recording the debut album. To me, this was a part 2 of that, and I had intentionally asked an artist to make artwork for the debut album that was in fact just a detail from the artwork of the second album cover. Originally, I wanted to use an image from an AD&D module, the Temple of Elemental Evil, but this was of course copyrighted, so instead I asked her to draw me something that looked like it. Again, I borrowed Peyton's drum kit, but only used my 60-watt PV amp for both guitars, and also included the use of cymbals instead of only using the hi-hat for rhythm. I was short on money though, so I rushed the whole recording a bit too much. Some mistakes were just left as they were, because it would take too much time to fix them. The whole recording went so fast that I barely have any recollections of it. I went in, set up the equipment, recorded in a hurry, and left. In all, including the time carrying the drum kit in and out of the studio, I spent 23 hours, I think. It was not just a money problem, though, but also a lingering feeling that I was running out of time. Most of the tracks had already been made when I recorded the debut album, so the theme was pretty much the same. Key to the Gate suggested I would rather go to what you call hell than living in what you define as heaven. En ring till lo harshka, one ring to rule, was an expression of despair. Lost wisdom accused the Christians and the church of removing those who knew better. Hansam Raista, he who left, was my own little private and secret instrumental homage to Dead, the vocalist of Mayhem who killed himself. Nor himlen klarner, when the sky clears, suggested that the dark clouds could go away one day. Snu mikrokosmos tine, turn the sign of the cosmos, had a title suggesting we should take this sick world and turn it upside down. The lyrics deal with how we live in a world that is too safe. Again, as I talked about when I talked about the debut album, I saw how the world was going and how all risks had been removed, and we were not only left with a boring, bland, and safe world, but also were left to degenerate, weaken, and become more and more coward. Svata Troner, Black Thrones, another instrumental track, was a reference to Tolkien's Saruman and Sauron, as at least they had evil to fight in Middle-earth. At least they had challenges, excitement. So yeah, both the albums I made revolved around the same concept for society too weak, too soft, and too meaningless, expressed with a theme that we can call fantastic, as in fantasy-like. You can easily say that the whole concept was heavily flawed, because we do indeed have risks and danger in our modern world too, but the risks of being run over by a car if you do not pay attention while walking in town, or the risk of being assaulted in your own European homeland for being white by people protected by the system, the risk of being perverted and corrupted by having porn shoved into your face at every corner by some rabbi, etc., are not exactly exciting. There are no monsters to fight in this world, and if you do fight them, you end up in prison for murder, for racism, or for hate crime, or something like that. You are in fact not allowed to even defend yourself, because we have policemen for that today. And you better call them if you are in trouble. Never mind the fact that they will always show up too late to save you, if they show up at all. And if you do defend yourself, make sure you fail to, or else you are the criminal. Losers are the victims, and winners are the criminals, period. Nah, no thanks. I will defend myself instead.